Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us to our Monday connection. Obviously, only through this wisdom we want to make a connection, and we know that when you make a connection to the light of the Creator through the wisdom that's been given to us by the Creator, the relationship becomes stronger, as opposed to what you want to think about and what you want to be revealed. It has to be aligned with what the Creator wants to reveal through and for you. This week, like I said a couple of weeks ago, that we enter to maybe 7 weeks process until we getting to time called Rosh Hashanah, which is a window in time, that in that time, we're going to speak more about it, but it's you received another level of your movie for another year. You received either the same story that repeats itself with a little bit change of sceneries, but the story is the same story. It's just a little mixer, a little bit, as they call it, a cover for an old album, which is, again, the same thing, just differently. Or completely different. And it's really dictated and decided by these weeks prior to Rosh Hashanah. What I've done until now, it's really just helping me to create or to gain some momentum. But now what you want to is accelerate that momentum. What is the momentum? The momentum of going inside. The momentum of growing ourselves from the inside. This is the only way you can see an influence in the outside world, is when the work that you look in to do become more and more internal, and it becomes very apparent to you that the work is inside, not outside. In this week, prior to what we call Rosh Hashanah, or the month of Virgo, we know that there's a code. The entire Torah, the entire story, the entire portion is a code. And the code that need to be extracted, need to be taught, need to be shared. So obviously there's many lessons, and the Baal Shem Tov, this is the majority of what I'm going to read for you from Rav Ashlag and Baal Shem Tov, one of few of my favorite Kabbalists, speaks about this week's energy. So the beginning of that, we always go to the first initial words, because we know that if you know the seed level, how the seed look like, you know everything that's going to come out of this. If you control the seed, you control everything. If you can control the consciousness and know how to tune your consciousness into what these weeks want to bring you, you're not going to be influenced by the effect of this week, but you always become the cause of the week. That's why these classes, I want to make them as quick as I can, throughout the beginning of the week, so we will have enough time to start working on them, accelerate, and see results from them. So the portion starts, V'aya Ekev tishme'un. That's how it started. I want to remind you that the entire book of Deuteronomy, book of Dvarim, these are many stories that we already covered, and that they've been told by Moses again. And reminding you that every week, like I shared in the beginning of this book, we have the opportunity to rewrite our story. You don't like it, change it. But you don't get to change it all the time, only in these weeks. Or the script can be changed in these coming weeks. And therefore every class will be geared and propel and teach us how to accelerate into rewrite the story that apparently we don't like, or we think it will serve, such and such. So, V'haya Ekev tishmeu literally mean if you would listen to the word of the Creator, right? This and that gift's gonna happen, and if you're not listening, this and that difficulty, challenges will have. So let's start from the first word. The first word says V'haya, and if, or when. That's the word V'haya. It's a code of the word Yud K Vav K, which is the tetragrammaton. The highest name of the Creator is the order of Yud and the letter Hey and the letter Vav and the letter Hey. Over here the order is a little bit different, and it can be pronounced as V'haya, and if will, or. But the code is Vav and Hey and Yud and Hey, which we know, if you study enough Kabbalah, you know that every month consisted with specific Yud Ke Vav Ke that teaches us to unlock the gifts that are available every month. Particularly this one, it speaks about the code here is the month of Libra, which is the month of Tishrei, where Rosh Hashanah appear and the rest of the holidays. There's a period of time of 22 days that are windows of opportunities, of transformation, of change that wants to take place. So right now when you read it, it doesn't even look about connected to what we're actually going to read, but V'haya is a code. Now it tells us, I'm giving you, Moses tells you, I'm giving you all the strength in this week. All the secrets that are available this week is so you will influence already the month of Tishrei, the month of all. You influencing Rosh Hashanah right now. If you set your mind into it, it will become apparent later on in the coming weeks of what and how you need to change, what and how you need to transform, what direction. But this is what He gives you to remind you. Let's say, for example, somebody experienced difficulty. Difficulty never appears when you see the difficulty. It has a prior seed that was planted. But you didn't see it, you didn't understand that. So you kind of dismiss it. And now you're dealing with the effect of that. Here, this is the work of Kabbalah. Proactive work. We influence the seed level before we even starting to get there. So that's the first idea. Because hopefully, I don't like the word hopefully, but I'm assuming everybody, with the help of the light, will get to Rosh Hashanah. If a person doesn't get to Rosh Hashanah and they need to leave this world, there's a reason for that which we're not going to get into it. But if you did made it to Rosh Hashanah, and if you do connect on Rosh Hashanah, it's for one particular reason. You get another opportunity this coming year to learn something new, to influence in a tremendous way, to correct something that stuck for a while within you, to teach and to learn, lilmod ulelamed, to teach this year a great lesson for everybody that you learn in your life, and to connect and to unify strongly with the Creator inside of you. This is the word V'haya. That word that we started the portion give us an opening to already influence Rosh Hashanah in this way. So, what stops me? What stops me from influence big way? What stops me from teaching and go ahead and do it? What, I need to call you and give you an approval? Is somebody need to call me and, oh yeah, you are the leader, no, now you're going to do it? No. It's something that important for all of us to understand. So the next word is Ekev. Vaya Ekev tishmeun. Ekev, that's what stops us. What stops me and each one of us this coming Rosh Hashanah to really transform completely who we are, completely what we envision to ourselves, to something that the Creator view for us. It's the one thing that stops me, it's the Ekev. Ekev comes from the word heel. Your body have a heel. And we know in the heel, if a body, or God forbid, somebody is missing a heel, just a heel, right? Or even, we know we have, most people like to walk with flat shoes, but some people, they like heels, right? So imagine if they don't have a heel, and that same shoes doesn't have a heel, right? It's not as comfortable, right? Or if a physical body doesn't have the heel, right? Or there's a pain in the heel. The whole body is shut down. The entire body. Even if it's function and everything is beautiful. But the heel is what the body stands on. So what stops you from connecting to that perfected self, that what we call the Creator inside of us? It's the smallest part, but the most important part that the entire body stands on. In the next few weeks, specifically 6 weeks, we know that we need to look inside a little bit more. What stops me from being great? What stops me? What delays me? Because Ekev is a heel, but it's also a delay, ikuv, right? Even it's ma'akev. I'm delayed for whatever reason. In the next week, you need to really ask yourself these questions. What am I standing on or for? What you stand for? What is that what stands behind you? What do you represent, right? Or the Kabbalists call it mashu'udash be'akevav. When somebody stick his heel down, there's a phrase that people say, like when the horse, stick his heels, right? What are you delaying? What are you getting stuck on? Right? What are you not giving up? I'm not going to give up on what type of principles that you think you're maintaining and as a reality that really never, pan out to be a good principle to live by. But you get stuck on. What type of values that you live by that are really not honoring many people but just you? Serving just you, those principles or those values. This is this week's. What stops me? Or even what are you neglecting? This is this week. You want to bring it up. What are you looking down to? Are you looking down to spiritual people? Are you looking down to a spiritual message? Are you looking down, God forbid, on the Creator if you see something wrong in this world? What type of God is it? What is that you standing on? Also, are you going to be really spiritual this year? Are you going to examine your life this year, this few weeks? It's coming very fast. So this is why the Kabbalist is practicing and teaching us way before to control this year before it's happening. Are you going to be a spiritual person? Are you going to examine everything in a spiritual matters? How are you going to be this coming year? What level of happiness you want to infuse this year? It's all dependent. So how do we learn that? The word Ekev is consisted from 3 letters: Ain, Kuf, and Bet. Over here, for those of us who study Kabbalah for a while, you know that there's a code. Ekev is a code of Ain Bet. Ain Bet represent 72, numerical value 72. And we know that 72 represent the total merciful, total power, total vibration of what the Creator infused within us in creation of the world. It's infused by the Ain Bet, by the 72 names. It's engraved into our bone, that energy. The tremendous mercy, the tremendous love, the tremendous kindness that is infused within each and each individual. All the names of the Creator is written on every individual. So you know. But there's always a but. In the middle of them, they inserted the letter Kuf. Kuf have a different secrets that is teaching us. But in Kabbalah, we call the letter Kuf the double agent. Because it's the only letters that goes under the line. So let's say if you write letters in the lines of the notebook, the letter Kuf have a little line that goes under, right? All of the letters are the same height, the same size. Only the letter Kuf have the little line that goes under. And the Kabbalists in the Zohar, volume 1 and 2, speaks about it, that it represents the double agent, which means takes all the light and give it to the underworld, right? The negative side, that always represented by the underworld. So obviously the letter Kuf is inserted between the Ain and the Bet. No, it's a little bit technical, but it's important sometimes to challenge our consciousness or our desire to understand Kabbalah a little bit more. That it represents the evil inclination. The evil inclination is not controlling you in the upper world. It's controlling you right here. And he wants that all the light that belongs to your soul to go to the negative side. That's it's a process. So what does the letter Kuf represent? It represents the wrong shortcuts in life, the wrong influence that comes and motivated just by ego and some pride. But in this portion we read about Kochi ve'otzem yadi, my strength and my bravery, they made it make me happen. Not the light of the Creator inside of me. Not the transformation helped me. It's me and my strength. The letter Kuf also represents the word Kof, which is monkey. Monkey says, monkey do. That's the letter Kuf. Right? What does it mean? It means that we don't have our own individual connection to the light. We're always copying others. We're always trying to imitate others. And if I'll do this, that's what's going to happen. Like we all learn online, if you do 5 things, this is what you're going to get. And if you do 2 things, a lot of us trying to imitate or copying others. And eventually, the most important part is when we're copying people who are actually disconnected, and that's the worst thing. You want to be able to understand that these coming weeks, the word Ekev is the word that delay you from Vehaya, the first word, is the connection to a complete new year, a connection to complete new revelation, complete new version of you. What stops in the middle? The Ain, and then the Kuf. The Kuf is stops, doesn't let you connect to it. Because what's the word after? Tishme'un, and you will hear. What stops you from hearing the message about who you are and what you came here to do stops by that letter. That serves your ego, that serves your selfishness, that serves, just people like me because I'm behaving like the same way, or I'm doing what they doing. We're going to the party, so I'm dragging myself to go with everybody because everybody is doing a negative thing, so I need to do it. That's what we feel, the pressure. Or the group decided that we're going to do such and such. I'm not aligned with that, but I feel compelled to do it because they're going to reject me from the group. You stop your entire year. Therefore, the next level of you not falling to that understanding of what I just shared, the word that we're using, Ekev, if you flip them another one, you take the word Keva. Keva is permanency. Permanent. These next few weeks, slowly, you're looking into what is you doing in your life in a temporary way, and in the next few weeks, you start doing it permanently. Anything that you become or doing something permanently, what end up happening, it's a little bit technical, but if you look at the whole, you understand how it works. So the derech keva, it's another flip way of the word, what we call ekev. Ekev is delays. What delays me, as I said, the kuf, the me copying other, me have wrong shortcut, me having wrong agendas, and all of that. That is promoted by the negative side. I start taking small step to create permanency of a connection in my life, which means if my spirituality is temporary, if my connection is temporary, if I do something temporary, this next week start doing things in a permanent way. Derech keva. This is the word. And then if you do it this way, then you create what we call, if you flip the letter again, you get the word beka, dent. Beka, which represent a vessel. Represent a vessel. And that vessel of beka, it's creating breakthrough in your life. It's shvirat machsomim, they call it. It break all the limitations. Break all the breakthrough in life. You are becoming the breakthrough to your life. It's a very tremendous vessel for light. And this what gives you the opportunity, even if you think about it, your ears, right? Your ears are external, but where you listen is like there's a dent, there's a little cup inside. That's the idea that you can hear, right? That is the beka we're speaking about. This is the dent that we're speaking about. And therefore, if you do change from temporary to permanent, you create a dent. That dent is where you can tishmeun. That's where you're going to listen to what the Creator have to tell you. The direction the Creator is waiting for you to hear and to listen to. It's almost like levakea et haozen, to break your ear, right? To create a dent inside your ear so it will listen. And it says actually in this week also to break through in the orlat halev, the closed heart that we have. And he says this is this week. And therefore, if you do those steps, the word Ekev is also come from the word la'akov, which means to trace you, right? When somebody is okev, when somebody is following you, right? It's called okev. What you do right now with this work the next few weeks, the negativity that seems like hunting you, it won't have a trace where you are. You're not going to leave a trace to negativity to hunt you down. When you do these few steps, this is until Rosh Hashanah. This is what you want to do. Look at the thing that you dash be'akevav. Look at the thing that you keep sitting on and not changing them. That you're waiting and not changing them. Start there. You got to stop them and start moving forward in this way that we learn. And this coming year, you're going to get new consciousness, new level that you never experienced before. So I hope that order is clear, because when you learn that, it takes a little bit, and I know it's some words and some difficult to understand how it works, but for those of us who are following that, will understand clearly how that structure of the Vaya Ekev Tishmeun work. What Moses opened the gates for us. What type of gates were open for us. Then go a step deeper. There's 2 times over here, and again, it's a longer conversation, but the second point is very important to us to awaken. What type of work do we want to do this year? So in this portion, in a little bit longer later in the reading, the Baal Shem Tov, he took from the book, from the writing, and he gave us an information that is really important for us to know how to do the spiritual work and what type of work we need to do. So I read the first understanding here. Ve'ata Israel, ma Hashem Elokecha shoel mi'imach. He says, and now the Israel, what is the Creator, your God, is asking from you? Continue, it says, כי אם ליראה ולאהבה אותו בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך, and so forth, the verse continuing. So first is to understand, here there's a moment in the reading that Moses says, it will come a time that you're not going to have many excuses. Now what? Here you got this. Now what? This is the idea. Ve'ata Israel. Now what? Now what else is stopping you? Now what is excuse you want to give me? Now why didn't you having all the books, and why you didn't have all the students, and why you didn't get married, and why you didn't have children, and why you didn't really make those $1 billion? Now what is your excuse? Because we're always finding excuses. And he says that one day the Creator come and ask you, now what? Right? Now here, that's one question that we need to have. Here Moses says, now the Creator comes to you and says, what do I really want from you? What does the Creator want from me? That you will walk in the path of the light, bechol drachecha, that you will go in the path of the light, and you will work with the light in 2 ways, ira'ah and ahava, fear and love. Now let me explain what it means. It's not the fear that we thought so. First of all, we need to come to a decision. Ve'ata. When are you going to stop with the excuses? And now what is my excuse? Now what stops me? Why am I not still elevating myself to the consciousness of Israel? Ve'ata Israel. When are you going to achieve the level of Israel? Israel, we spoke about many times in Kabbalah. It's nothing to do with the Israelis or Jewish people or people who live in Israel. Israel is consciousness. Li Rosh is the same word. or Yisrei Kel, where the light of the Creator rests upon the individual. And then when he says, V'ata Yisrael, Ma, what? But it's a code. Ma is Mem Hey, which is numerical value 45, the same as Adam, human. He says to us, Moses tells us, you are human. It's not, Rosh Hashanah we're speaking about is not for a specific group of people or a nation of sort. Lechol ba'ei ha'olam. All the people of the world will be infused with the life and light for the entire year. But if some of us deciding to become Israel, we are becoming human. Because human is a certain level of, you can be a human that just eat, sleep, and drink and go and die, right? Or you can be somebody influence and change, create change in the world. Influence, bringing light to this reality. Saving people's life. So then he asks you, V'ata, now, when are you going to do it? When are you going to decide to become Israel, which is the people who are controlling the consciousness first? People who the right of the Creator can rest upon them, because it's not about separation, it's about unity. And to know that the Creator is within each and every one of us, that are connected to the level of human, not to the level of animal. And the way human should operate, it tells you this coming year, Ira'ah and Ahava. Fear and love. Let's understand that. Don't fall into fear, of God. First of all, Ira'ah. Fear, there's two ways. They call it Ira'ah chitzonit, external fear. What does it mean? Fear of punishments, fear of the unknown, fear of world catastrophe, fear of airborne diseases, anything external or punishment that something will happen. Fear of people, people of how they behave, right? And then there is internal fear, inner fear, which is nothing to do with the fear that we know. The fear that we have is external, is nothing to do with that. He says it has to bring you closer to the internal, to the inner fear, which is what? We call it in the language of Kabbalah, romemut, awe-inspiring. That's the level of fear. It's like when you walk in a crystal shop, right? And it's all gentle, it's all like, it's all from, very fragile, so you're walking around like not to bang into anything, not to push anything, right? Because it's very fragile. So you're not doing it because of, wow, what will happen? It's just like you care, right? Or when you walk to something that is very, very ancient and very sacred, all of a sudden you are silent and you have like this awe, the awe-inspiring on that idea. Why? Ira'ah, a lot of us took it as fear, but if you look at the word Ira'ah, it's the word re'iyah, is to look, is to see. And if I have enough Ira'ah, enough awe-inspiring, I'm going to start seeing, I will see the light of the Creator inside of me, and I will be afraid not to use it. I will be afraid to be disconnected from that light inside of me. Most of us are misbehaving or neglecting ourselves, or don't behave right with ourselves, or even looking down to ourselves because we don't see enough the light of the Creator inside. That's the majority of the problem. We're looking outside and we're admiring other people. Look what they do, and look what they have, and look how many followers, look how many this. No. You need to have the Ira'ah Pnimit, which means that you want to engage with that Creator inside of you. And more of us seeing it, more of us will be afraid to have ego. We're afraid to have some pride or to take some credit. What? As a godly energy, there is no other external fear that will take you on a ride. You're not going to be afraid of anything. Not from the ego point of view, I'm not afraid for the... No. It's because you see and you have awe-inspiring for that type of level inside of you, and you awaken fear to be disconnected from that. But it's not fear of like, sometimes many of us are taking the wisdom very lightly. Even afraid to be disconnected from the wisdom of the Creator. Because that's where He funnels for us information. And sets us on a spiritual path. When a person stays away from wisdom, he starts having external fears. When a person stays away and don't see the Creator inside of him in an awe-inspiring, he starts having external fear. What will happen? Who is going to attack them? And so forth and so forth. So again, fear is pachad. That's what they call it in Hebrew. But we spoke about many times, pachad is the same word as if you flip it to the word dachaf. Dachaf is an internal force. Dachaf apnimi, the internal drive. What is your drive? Are you awakened today for the light in a constant way? Am I motivated? Do I have a willpower? Where does it come from? From a fear of the outside or fear of being disconnected from that light inside of me? This is what the Baal Shem Tov is guiding us this week. And last thing about Ir'ah, he says, the Kabbalah says, Ir'at Hashem hi otzaro. The treasure of the Creator is only been kept by people who have that type of fear, internal fear, to be disconnected from the light of the Creator, to be disconnected from the Creator internally. When I don't see, how do I know? When you look down to yourself, when you wake up miserable, you know, because you're not connected. So have that fear by seeing that light inside of us. And we have to understand, Ir'at Hashem otzaro. Otzar, which means is a vessel. Otzar is a treasure. And the only way, let's say for example, he's given an example, En notnim yain besakim. When you want to keep a very expensive wine, you put it in a clay or in a barrel to keep it very much fresh or safe. You don't put it in a sack. You don't put it in a plastic bag to keep it. You keep it in the right vessel. Or when you keep it, when he says velo kemach bechaviot, and you don't saving the flour, right? That you grind the wheat and you put the flour, you don't put it in a barrel, right? Same thing he says. In ruchaniyut, in spirituality, what is the proper vessel for the light of the Creator? For that treasure is Ir'ah. Ir'ah is been given to so many people. What is the Creator ask you? For Ir'ah. To see the light inside of you, to see the Creator inside of you and awaken and awe-inspiring. How can I behave with this body in a selfish way? How can I behave in my life in an ego way? This is what the work you want to do until Rosh Hashanah, please. This is the internal. The second one is love. There is external love the same way. We love what people makes us feel. We love food, we love pleasure, we love drinking, we love traveling, different types of pleasure, others, right? But really, why do we love those things? Because the roots of them is rooted in the love of the Creator. And I spoke a little bit about it last week. But here he says, Bechol levavcha. We have two hearts. One a little bit negative heart and one is positive heart, right? And we need to start loving the Creator with both of that. Even if I received a negative heart to hate or to be angry, but eventually that negative heart is guiding me and leading me to stay away from evil. Stay away from that. So I love the negative heart that got me to become better, that got me to really experience the good heart that I have. So for a certain period of time, some people spending time with their negative heart, with the bad heart, with the evil heart. But eventually, it just get them closer to, wow, I see that my heart is good. And now you start loving that. Second thing is, you know, the Baal Shem Tov give the example. He says that, you know, like a parable. This is, I'm going to end up with that. He says that it's a parable that as a messenger come to you, you know, many years ago, again, it's just a long story short, but he says that the king sent to call somebody. And that person that came, you know, very much in an anger, in a scary, he scared everybody. And he wore his clothes that everybody was afraid of him, right? But be'emet no klum, but really, that guy is just a messenger. Who is really sending that person? The king. So I should not afraid from that person. Either way, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything without the approval of the king. So he can come and he looks scary and look frightening and look this and look that. This is what life, right? The bank is calling, the IRS, the DM, whoever calls you. Oh, I'm afraid. Wait a second. This is just the messenger. They're not going to do anything unless the king approves that. Right? So, obviously, all those external fears are really nothing unless the Creator approved that, the king approved it. The same thing he says about another messenger came, and it was fun messenger, and the person start falling in love with the messenger, and start having fun with the messenger, and it was a great time, you know, and he forgot this is a messenger of the king. So even pleasure, my friends, even good thing that happened to you, don't get caught up and think, wow, look what I have. It's all the king sent it to you. It's all gifts. Even a gift that you learn something right now today. It's not me. Oh, Benjamin, thank you so much. No. It's as the messenger. The king sent it to you. Everything should work for you this way. Obviously, there's way more than that. You know, I'll share. There's one important aspect. In this week's portion, there is a section of another vehaya. Remember I spoke to you, vehaya, the word, and it should be or should become, right? Vehaya. Another one in the middle of the portion, which represent the beginning, and again, it's a reading from the prayer called Shema Yisrael. So every prayer in Shema Yisrael, there's 4 parts, right? But the second one have exact 72 words. It starts from the word vehaya, the same with that the portion started. Obviously, the connection, like I told you before, is those 72 names that is ingrained inside of you, that every day, when we recite that specific prayer, we have an opportunity to awaken that 72 names. But what is really represented over here is that if I'm disconnected from what we call the kuf, the monkey, like the letter kuf, that everything that I'm doing is feeding the negative side, or being an agent of spreading negativity, right? You can activate this week already the energy of immortality. Be a messenger of the light. The 72 names represent mind over matter. When we overcoming all the physicality, all the attachment, and we become immortal. And this is the seed level when we are fusing that energy. So thank you for those of you joining us. Please spread it, share it with others as much as you can. Will be greatly appreciated. Pay it forward. Have a wonderful rest of the week.